I'm John Nuzzleese from the Landlord Protection Agency. Welcome to my page. Welcome to the Landlord Protection Agency. If you don't know about the website, that's landlordprotectionagency.com or thelpa.com. That's THELPA.com. Okay, the website's been around for going on 17 years, serving landlords all across the United States and Canada and all other English-speaking countries. I've been a landlord for many years. I got into the business in 1979 as a real estate broker and also someone who helps landlords, and I became an investor and a property manager. And of course, that's what brought me to sharing my experiences on the Landlord Protection Agency website. We've got so much information. The clauses that I'm going to be sharing are clauses from our LPA lease agreement. And all these clauses are in my book, Landlord Power, which has every clause of the lease agreement. It's called 50 Kick-Ass Lease Clauses and the forms to enforce them. So this has the examples of all the forms and how we would enforce every clause of the lease if the tenant should disobey or violate the lease agreement. So, you know, a lot of landlords don't know what to do when the tenant steps out of line and violates the lease agreement. And it's very important, if you're going to stay in the business as a property owner and landlord and manage these properties yourself, you need to know what to do when the tenants step out of line. And inevitably, that's what they do. It's just, even good tenants step out of line and feel maybe entitled to something that they're not entitled to, or go ahead and do something on their own without permission, and maybe not even pay the rent sometimes. So it's very important to know how to snap a tenant back in line when they step out of line, when they're violating your lease agreement. So that's so important. And so many people aren't sure what to do and how to handle those things. And I want to break it down and make it very, very easy for you if you're a landlord or property owner who's just starting out, or even if you've been doing it a long time, and sometimes you go for years without having to change tenants, and all this comes flooding back and you're not sure how to deal with it. And the Landlord Protection Agency website just breaks it all down step by step and makes everything very easy to follow, so that you can do these things with the proper forms very simply and professionally. And tenants do respect the written word. When things are in writing, they respect it a lot more than they do when you call them on the cell phone, or when they call you, when they have access to you all the time, or when it's texting back and forth. You're at their mercy that way, or email. So doing things in writing properly, like professional management companies do, is something that will really improve your landlord-tenant relationships, and they'll respect you more. And it's very important to have the tenants respecting you. Believe me, that's so important. So the next clause that I want to share with you is maintenance and repairs. Now, my maintenance and repair clause is very detailed, but the important thing is that we only want to accept tenants, and I explain this to them when we go over the lease agreement. We only want tenants who are willing to accept the property and the responsibility for taking care of it as if it's their own home. Don't you? You want someone who's going to take your property and maintain it on their own and take some of the responsibility of that off of you. So that's the whole idea of making a lease that covers a lot of stuff that the tenant needs to abide by. And that's the whole idea of screening tenants, to find someone responsible and capable of taking care of your property. And I always explain to tenants, right before we go into this maintenance clause, I explain to them that we want people who we can trust, that we know the property is going to be in good hands. Now, if I give you my house, is the property going to be in good hands? We need to know that. We need to trust you and know that you're going to be able to take care of things as if it's your own home. So are you capable of caring for the home as if it's your own home, taking pride in it and keeping it nice? Because I'm sure you want a nice place. But can you do that? Take care of minor things? So the maintenance clause goes over all the different responsibilities of the tenant in maintaining the property. Those are details that are very important. It also explains that the tenant is responsible to return the property in the same or better condition. Normal wear and tear accepted as usual, but in the same or better condition, and that they will cooperate with the showing of the rental property when you decide or they decide to end the lease agreement. They need to cooperate with you so that you can bring new prospective renters or prospective buyers to view the property. You know how important it is to have a good landlord lease. As a landlord, you know that you need that protection, because without it, the tenants will have all the rights. The only way for the landlord to have the rights is if you protect yourself with these things. Now, as far as the maintenance clause goes that I was touching on before, it also includes a section that the tenant is responsible for certain minor repairs up to a certain dollar amount. And that's very important because you want to eliminate nuisance call. So this clause covers all that stuff, and it's very important.